welcome to the nominations episode for the 7th annual Andy Awards, recorded live and somewhat energetically in the great state of Indiana. I am your host, as sometimes per usual, Connor. I'm joined as always by my good friend Dan.
Howdy. And of course, thank you all for listening and coming back for what is to be, I think, a very interesting edition of the Andes, the 7th annual.
Yes, I will say this was the most divisive and decisive nominations session we've ever had.
And that's not to say this is a particularly controversial year for films. You know, I think it was it was a year like any other with a good amount of highlights. But yeah, 2025, if I can say it, an interesting year for movies.
I thought you were just going to say an interesting year, which would also have been accurate to say.
2025, an interesting year.
I'm going to say it, Dan. I do not want to be, I'm not a Nostradamus. I'm not a future teller.
Yeah.
I'm not, whatever. I'm not an oracle.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, play my odds in Vegas, whatever. 2026, so far it's an interesting year.
It's an interesting year
so
as well.
This is, I guess it is still Super Bowl Sunday, technically, though the Super has been bowled.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
This is a couple firsts for the Andes. We are recording, I believe, our first ever nominations episode after the sunset.
In the wee hours, yeah.
Yes. But we're here to also congratulate the Seattle Seahawks on their very recent victory.
Very recent, as in like 20 minutes ago victory.
Literally. But yes, we have a late night edition of the Andes nominations episode. You might be listening to this at any time during the day. But
That's
for the context,
the magic of podcasting, yeah.
Exactly. But for the context of this episode, the lights are turned down low. We have a screensaver for Connor's TV playing on in the background. And we are excited to announce some nominations.
Yes.
So I guess we can start off, as we always do, with our film and created category, Best Production for the films of 2025. Connor, take it away.
Best Production, our bespoke category, which covers... it's bespoke.
It is.
It covers hair and makeup, costume design, and production design.
Amen. All right.
So the nominees for Best Production are 28 Years Later, Frankenstein, The Legend of Ochi, Marty Supreme, and Resurrection.
And a strong 5, a diverse 5.
Yes.
In some ways, I'm not sure how you're going to take this. Are these all period pieces?
They're going to say these all creature movies. And I would say...
if you count Marty,
yes. I would say Marty Mauser, creature.
Bit of a creature. What if, man, when Marty Supreme hit theaters and then 2 milliseconds later when it hit the internet, things have just heated up in the awards race and in just the debate and the discourse of this film. But to talk about it for its production design, its costume, its sets, its makeup, it's absolutely stunning. Yeah,
the production design by legendary Jack Fisk.
Yes, absolutely amazing what he was able to put together here after decades of completely inspired work.
And always just kind of, I feel like going under the, everyone knows who Jack Fisk is, obviously, if you're in this sphere. The name is well known, but I feel like a lot of his work is so low key. It's not like he's doing not nominated here, obviously, but it's not like something like Wicked, which is maximalist to a certain degree.
There's something very singular about Jack Fisk's sensibilities when it comes to his production design, but at the same time, it is subtle. Yeah. It is very
primarily
subtle.
Working with Terrence Malick.
Yes, and that's a great example.
The definition of subtle. It's just movies and fields and houses and. And there's so many details in his New York that we just don't see on screen. I watched an interview with him discussing it. And in the shoe store, every single one of those boxes is filled with period-appropriate shoes.
I love it.
So they could pull one out and just use one in any take if they wanted to.
As well as it should be. I mean, that's kind of... It's the beauty of the detail that I think general audiences probably heard the most talked about when Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out. That big whole to-do of like Tarantino redesigned like Hollywood Boulevard to look like 1969 again. And he was so determined to have every shop front be the real shop front. And there is that attention to detail and that just commitment to creating a world that's
period
beautiful.
Accurate signage in New York City, like proper awnings, obviously cars and everything, and costume and hair.
And also being able to push through that and create events that didn't actually happen.
Yes.
But when they're in a world that feels real, we believe it. And that's kind of the magic of Modi.
It feels lived in. Same thing feeling lived in. You can obviously say that like Guillermo's production design is always insane.
Oh my goodness.
And
the way he builds a room, the way he builds a set in the kind of in the big picture, right?
Yes.
The grand scale of these always. Yeah, I mean, you can take a look at
that full scale lab, those giant batteries, the full ship that actually was on like a gimbal, so it actually Jacob could actually move the ship with his hands.
So amazing.
Yes.
And it's just these really inspired choices that have continued to follow him throughout his filmography. You can even go back to something like Kronos. And you see these really unique, fun designs that pull from so many eras of human history, of human art. And he uses that to kind of inform the story so much greater. And I do love that so much about Frankenstein. It's one of the total highlights.
The makeup design in Frankenstein, obviously, also incredible.
God. Jacob Elordi.
Jacob in the chair for 12 hours a day.
Oh my God. It's so funny because I feel like we've grown so used to hearing like,
these insane stories.
I'm in the makeup tent for 76 hours and I do 5 seconds of a shot and then I go to sleep in my makeup.
And the thing where he was like saying is like, I'd have to show up at like 3 a.m. for like a noon call, like things like that. Legend of Ochi, something I really campaigned for this season. Something that really did not get any real acclaim when it came out. It kind of flew under the radar.
Not a lot of critical love.
No, and financial either.
Or financial love, but certainly has garnered a cult following of its own. And a totally respectable release by A24 this year that should not be slept on.
No, and in terms of pure production design, they fought really hard to have all the Ochis be puppets. Yeah, and it really, really works. And they're so immensely charming.
Yeah, that's why the film works. Is the magic and the beauty of the Ochis.
If the Ochis were CG, I think you lose the fundamental magic of that movie. Yeah. If you want to, you can put up my letterboxd review here if you want to find it for Legend of Ochi. Yeah, but I talk about like this movie just like reminds me of like magic on screen again. Like I've not felt this layer of like wonder and literally seeing like, this creature come to life in front of me.
Yeah. It's like kind of creating this stylized alternate version of post-Soviet Eastern Europe. Yeah. Which I think is really special, unique, and just something we haven't seen before. So altogether, I think that's just really fun what they're pulling from. And it totally helps create the entire world, you know?
And then 28 years later, this world in collapse.
A world that actually doesn't exist.
Yes,
but really it makes you feel like it does.
Yes.
Every horrifying inch of it. 28 years later with this fantastic dystopian image of an England that is no more, I mean, my goodness. And then Resurrection, a film from Chinese director Bai Gan, which saw a lot of festival love this year, but has yet to see any major, I think, crossover into Western audiences, mainstream at least. I mean, listen,
as mainstream as it could get.
It's a very abstract piece, but one thing that really makes it shine through the abstraction, which is something even I struggle through with, watching the film on a first time, is the production design, is the costumes and the sets that the camera moves so fluidly through. And, each portion of the film is kind of giving you a whole different look into a world of a dreamlike world. And, the messaging and the themes of the film of the importance of dreaming and what it means to be a creative in the past, the present, and our future, a future we're all going to see what goes on in the coming years. This film is really able to capture sort of the tradition of cinema magic through its production design, and that's really kind of the magic sauce that it kind of is pouring all over the film. So yeah, I mean, it's a strong 5. It's a strong 5. I think back to past years like Triangle of Sadness taking home Best Production. Little Women? Not Little Women. What was
Lighthouse,
I believe.
West Side Story,
of course, West Side Story and Emma. This list I think goes toe to toe with any of our past years. You know,
and it usually is the period piece category.
It is.
I think a lot of craft categories do end up being that, but I mean, it's a very diverse year. As much as I joke about the similarities, we do have literally 2 reanimated corpse categories, which is funny.
Yes, we do.
But
you might hear a lot of different themes between the films throughout the rest.
Yes, there is a couple funny themes that go,
but yeah, a fantastic category, and I'm excited to see who takes home the trophy.
Well, Dan, the certificate.
Excuse me, the certificate. The PDF
file.
The PDF file. But yeah, moving on. Next up, we have Best Editing. And the nominees for Best Editing all Ronald Braunstein and Josh Safdie for Malty Supreme, Lucian Johnston for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Joe Murphy, Weapons, Sandra Adair, Blue Moon, and Andrew Weisblum for Caught Stealing. And I think another category that has remained diverse in the history of the Andes since we have instituted it is Best Editing. So for here, I think I see a lot of the same sort of themes, particularly with you see the frenetic editing and sort of stress-inducing editing of the Braunstein-Safdie camp, If I Had Legs, and Malty.
Well, and Andrew Weisblum for Caught Stealing.
And
all three
of them are very kind of similar in that way.
Which I'm sure I could be wrong, and forgive me if I'm misquoting here, but I'm pretty sure Josh Safdie said After Hours is a big inspiration for Malty Supreme too, and that was the same case for Caught Stealing.
Oh yes,
absolutely. That same kind of frantic New York energy, and then If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You is a nightmare.
Yes, indeed.
The pace is so important for that thing because it needs to feel punishing in a very particular way.
Yeah, but also continue to ground the audience through the real, in real time moments of Rose Byrne's existence. You know,
it can't become such a nightmare that you pull away from it.
Yeah,
but two, that ever seems not believable.
Exactly.
Yes, there are moments where it does get a little surrealist, obviously.
Yeah, but it never falls into just being montage, basically.
Yeah, a movie I adore.
Yeah,
and the edit is a big piece of how that movie is successful because if there's any misstep in the edit, that entire thing collapses like a house of cards.
Yeah. And again, when we're talking about these sort of more frenetic editing styles to help kind of boost the tension of these films, these action-heavy films, you then, in comparison, have the seamless and floating-on-air editing of Blue Moon. A film that I don't even remember there being a cut in.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't remember a cut from Blue Moon. It is that seamless. And it's magical when you finish the scene and you feel like, oh my God, was that a oneer? It's really
the movie,
quite amazing.
I have not heard this complaint with the movie.
Yeah.
And I mean it as a compliment when I say Blue Moon could work on the stage incredibly well. You could transfer that to the stage and not miss a beat.
That one kind of, obviously the multiple rooms, but singular location for the most part, with the exception of the opening sequence.
It's in the bar for 99.9% of that movie.
Yeah. The way, because this is Richard Linklater, you see these two really distinct visual action pieces that Linklater was working with. It is within the edit and camera movement. And pairing the idea of when to move the camera and when to cut to a different shot is such a delicate dance. This is what we've learned. And he's able to do it in such a way where cutting away and moving the camera, dollying out, panning over to a character, trucking something up, it all just feels the same. Yeah. Because he's giving you exactly what you need to see visually at any given point.
Every move, every cut has intention.
And it's really, it's so refreshing to see a film that's able to pull that off so seamlessly. So, congrats to Blue Moon,
And speaking of, I would say seamless editing, I would go Joe Murphy for Weapons. A movie that very easily could fold in on itself and just not work.
Yes, but with the editing is able to just capture exactly how long you need to see something and where you need to see it at in the pacing of the film.
Where the stories overlap.
Exactly
what moments we need to see from another perspective to sell, the shift, but also to invest us in the coming narrative.
And obviously, Weapons, a horror film.
Yes.
A much beloved and forward-thinking horror film. I find is more, in many ways, a mystery film.
Yeah.
Who is this woman? What is happening to these people? The horror lies, yes, in some of the jump cuts and some of the creepy, bug-eyed people running around and the kids running the street looking like little helicopters.
Because we could talk about horror movies and the edit being like, well, that's a very well-timed jump scare.
Yes, but then we're talking about the mystery.
Exactly.
And it comes from the non-linear editing.
There is a very, one in particular, very like, not infamous is a bad word. One jump scare that everyone's like, well, that's the Weapons jump scare.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
There's that one. But then this movie it's eerie. Yeah. And like the edit is very methodical and purposeful. And I like the scene I always think about, the scariest part of that movie for me is when Julian Garner's asleep in the car and we just cut to the door of the woman just like stumbling out with the scissors.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Like it's moments like that that's like let it take its time, and it allows the structure of the chapters to actually function.
So amazing nominees here for Best Editing. 5 that blew us away this year. And moving on. Connor, take it away with Best VFX.
The nominees, visual effects, are Anemone, Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Mickey 17, and Sinners.
5 films that use visual effects in varying ways, both in quantity and in just creative license, really.
Yes.
You know?
Where it's F1 obviously being here almost feels an anomaly because you think, well, there are no VFX in F1. The races we see, Brad Pitt and Damson Idris are not in those races. Those cars are not there. They're inserting them into races that did happen. And if you watched Formula One that season like I did, it's a very fun watch because there's moments where there's like crashes or like the one part where I forget what driver it was, but they literally run over the front of another person's car.
Yes.
That's in the movie.
Yeah. And
that was an actual
really
thing that happened.
And it was,
Yeah.
So it is kind of magical how that film
Yeah.
is able to kind of weave
Yeah.
the real life races with
It's magic.
this story,
It's able to literally go back and rewrite time.
Yes.
It's able to insert a whole team of people there that just did not exist. And you believe it.
It is magically seamless.
You'll believe Brad Pitt can drive a car.
Yes. And you can also believe that there can be 2 Robert Pattinsons on your screen.
Yes.
In Mickey 17.
No, both Mickey 17 and Sinners.
Yes. Both movies with
twins.
Twins.
Yes. Both those movies are just flexes in the most insane degree. We watched Sinners yesterday. Yeah. And I noticed you, Dan, subconsciously you kind of went like, oh, when they passed the cigarette to each other in the beginning.
That opening shot of the two of them.
Because it is just an incredible shot.
I just sighed. I was like, oh man.
It's so good.
It feels so naturalistic.
Yeah.
And it's like being able to have Michael B. Jordan fight Michael B. Jordan and Robert Pattinson fight
Robert Pattinson.
And granted, one is sort of a Southern horror drama film and the other is a sci-fi film.
Yes.
A sci-fi comedy, like
literally
adult comedy.
Robert Pattinson literally made of garbage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very different tonally, but do kind of have this interesting bridge between them of the twins VFX thing.
And then obviously Avatar Fire and Ash is Avatar Fire and Ash.
Yes. I mean, we do need to stress every time it comes out, every time we get another Avatar film, and with the success of 3, we will be getting 4.
Dan, I'm not so sure.
I am.
Here's the thing. James Cameron is getting older. He wants to be done with them.
Yeah.
He wants to make his Pompeii movie.
His Pompeii movie.
I think he wants to make a Pompeii movie.
Were you talking about the Hiroshima movie?
Oh fuck, you are entirely right.
Did you hear what he said about it?
I know it's gonna be fucking miserable.
No, he said a couple weeks ago in an interview that he has actually put that on the back burner because his friend wrote the book and he just said he was going to adapt it to help his friend's book sales.
Really?
Yes. And he pretty much outright said that, like, yeah, I don't think I'm actually going to be doing that. I just wanted to, like, put it out there so people would buy the book.
Hey, you know what? I give James this. He's always himself.
Yeah.
Like, I will give you this,
Amen,
James.
brother.
James, hey, you don't pretend to
boy.
be anybody but yourself, Mr.
Yeah.
Cameron. I give you credit.
But
Did
no,
you-
yeah.
But anyway,
back to
here's the
Avatar: Fire
thing.
and
If
Ash.
Avatar Fire and Ash,
It is never just going to be, for any Avatar movie, is never just going to be, well, we have to give it to Avatar. James Cameron needs to prove himself every time he shows up to the Andes shortlist.
And I think he does.
And he does.
He
he does it
does.
again, man. Okay?
there's stuff in Avatar Fire and Ash that just defies logic.
It really does.
Yeah, and obviously, AI is a big topic. Always has been. Well, not always has been. It has been very. That we watched 5 AI ads at Super Bowl within 5 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, and it was tough.
Yes.
to stomach.
But it's something where in this age of AI and of convenience and lack of effort and theoretically, I'm doing big, massive air quote fingers here. That anything you want, you can air quotes, can create in a matter of seconds. This is a thing that takes years. They shot the majority of this movie in 2017,
which is mind-boggling to consider. And this isn't like a Boyhood situation where they did a little bit every year for a decade. No, they got this and then they went to work and said, let us dedicate 7 years.
There is an episode of Una Chaplin in 2018 at Disney World because she just got cast as Varang.
It's so
2018.
So, I mean, think of that's such a different world. 2018. The Andes hadn't even happened yet.
It was pre-pandemic.
The Andes were not a twinkle in either of our eyes.
Yes. Yeah, it was our freshman year of college.
That's insane to me.
That's how long ago they shot this movie.
But anyways, it's hard to follow that with Anemone.
Which is a very different movie. Very different use of VFX.
We are pretty much going from our most maximalist VFX norm to our most minimalist, where when you're looking at VFX in Anemone, not only is it taking the seamless F1 approach, and not only is it taking sort of, in a way, the sci-fi stylization of films like Mickey 17 and Avatar, it's doing something that is so dreamlike and so ruminative that I think for me, I just found a film this year didn't use VFX in quite a way like Anemone did.
No one else gave us Weird Horse.
No one else gave us Weird Horse.
No one else gave us childhood drawing Weird Horse. Nobody.
And there is just something to be said. I mean, obviously that's an iconic image.
It is an iconic image.
And you can understand they're all like other little moments within the film. Again, a very grounded, very human film with not many touches but of VFX, but the ones we all give it and how they inform the entire film, it's just a great testament to the power of VFX. A little goes a long way in understanding how VFX can be used for the sake of a story. And that's why I love that Anemone gets to share this category with these other full films, you know? Moving on, we're gonna jump in now to Best Cinematography, and the nominees are Anthony Dodmantle for 28 Years Later, Robbie Ryan for Begonia, Autumn Durald Okapa for Sinners, Adolfo Veloso for Train Dreams, and Kelly Jeffrey for The Maiden.
Well, Dan.
Yeah.
I will say I think there is a first here for the Andes.
Really?
I believe it's the first time a movie shot with an iPhone has ever got a cinematography nomination for us.
28 Years Later.
Yes.
Now, I should also mention, this is the first film shot on an iPhone nominated for an Andy, correct, but also the first film shot on 28 iPhones.
Yes.
In a weird 180-degree little machine that Danny Boyle came up with. You
could say 28 iPhones later.
28 iPhones later.
Yes, his weird bullet time rig.
Yes, which is absolutely
Have you seen the shots of the two guys running with that thing?
So it's through the forest.
Through the forest.
Like there's roots and trees and brush. Like, dear God.
And yes, it's not just an iPhone. There's an iPhone with like a humongous lens and 3 different attachments, but still an iPhone nevertheless.
Crazy. Yeah.
And it uses the iPhone. It stretches it to its absolute max.
Oh, yeah. It's using everything that it has.
Every pixel of that little thing it's using.
And it's doing it magically. And it's doing it so inventively that really only in a way Danny Boyle can do. Because he's continually throughout his entire career has been such a boundary pusher.
Yeah.
You cannot deny that he has had such an amazing career just for that alone. You know,
Yes.
I mean, I respect that so much about him, that you're seeing him attempt to push the medium into new territory, and that's why it's so special to see in 2025.
Since the beginning with freaking Train Spotting.
And then, I mean, if you just look at where he was in Train Spotting in 2025, 28 years later, he's still coming through with all this stuff that is just an amazing visual triumph.
Yeah. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And his work with Anthony Don Mantle and absolutely stretching, or I would say even like, he's so close to just tearing the iPhone, if you know what I mean. It's like, it's crazy that he was able to do this with any camera, let alone an iPhone.
Yeah. A return nominee, Robbie Ryan for Begonia, who has worked with Yorgos Lanthimos on, I believe, a few of his films.
Did he also do Kinds of Kindness? I would assume so.
I think he did. So, because I know clearly Poor Things.
Yes, he won for Poor Things.
He won for Poor Things. A very big achievement in cinematography that year.
Yeah.
A lot of digital ink spilled on Robbie Ryan's work with that and his belief in the magic of 35 millimeter.
Because the thing on Begonia one shot on VistaVision.
Beautifully shot
the thing
on
is,
VistaVision.
I look at his work with Poor Things and now Begonia, and I look at the images he creates, and I simply don't know how it's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that with any format, technology. It's future proof in a way I really don't think the scientists can't figure it out.
Yeah.
This is like a fossil that's going to be preserved. When humankind is over and we think we know everything, we're going to look back at Begonia and be like, how the hell did he make that image on that screen? How do we have this like insanely sharp, contrasted close-up of Emma Stone?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you see every single pore on that woman's face. And same thing I couldn't believe you could do with any film stock because they didn't. Train Dreams.
Train Dreams.
A movie that was shot digitally, but I was floored to find that out when I watched the interview with Adolfo Veloso. It's not... I explained to Dan why he hasn't seen Train Dreams yet, for context.
Yeah, I haven't.
I was able to convince him of this nomination because... I am a snob. If you follow me on Filmand, you have since the beginning, you know I am a huge proponent for shooting on film, especially 16. The dirtier the better, to quote Millie Bobby Brown. But Train Dreams, I was floored to discover it was not shot on film.
Yeah.
The texture and the color and just the richness of that image is something I would argue I've never seen on digital before.
Yeah, and then if we're talking about the magic of film and the grainier the better, what better transition to Kelly Jeffries' inspired work on The Maiden? A very low budget, independent Canadian film that Connor turned me on to personally and has become one of my favorite films of the decade in its very quiet, very distanced way.
Shot on glorious 16 millimeter.
Yes, and it really is a magical viewing experience.
You see every millimeter.
You do. There's only 16 of them.
There's only 16
they
of
all
them.
They all fit on the screen. On the screen with room to spare.
No,
no one's crowding to get on there.
I love grain.
We're just gonna end on that.
I love grain.
Moving on. No.
And Autumn Darrell Akapaw's work on Sinners.
Yes. A film that I was actually pretty skeptical on adding to this very award show for cinematography until I was able to watch your 4K disc of it, your physical media disc of it on your nice TV. It was the color correction that was used on the film to create its iconic sort of color language was somewhat blurry during my screening back in March.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh, why does it look like that? And I think it was just the projection of the theater I was in.
Yeah.
And there was just this sort of almost digital blurriness, right? That kind of didn't make the images pop. And then we saw it again, and I was like, this film is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And I will say, The aspect ratio changes may be controversial for some. I will admit it can be jarring, but in every frame, there is such inspired work of placing the characters and the objects and the structures they are around so perfectly to help bring the gravitas of the story and the intimacy of the story in a lot of ways. You know?
And it's, the shifting aspect ratio, the use of IMAX film, utterly gorgeous and captivating.
Oh, yeah.
But Autumn, I shout out the fact that Autumn is one of the 2 female cinematographers.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if this has since been broken, but I believe she was the first, and I believe maybe still the only female cinematographer to handhold an IMAX film camera.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. She talked about that in an interview she did in her Ryan did with IMAX, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm the only female cinematographer to ever hold like handheld shoot like with an IMAX film camera."
That's sick.
Rachel Morrison, who has also worked with Ryan Coogler before, I don't think she ended up winning for cinematography. She was the first woman nominated. So Autumn could very much become the first female cinematographer to win, which would be an incredible milestone.
The Oscar.
The Oscar, yes. It's a shame it took 98 years, but hey, it took us 2, which I want to point that out. But
we here at Film we here at the Andes want you to know that when we get a chance to take the Oscars down a peg, we do not hesitate.
Yeah.
And I want to thank all you cinematographers out there for doing the good work and giving us these beautiful films.
Quite literally doing magic. I've had to be a cinematographer on a few shoots. Ironically, I've won an Emmy for cinematography, and I'm not good at it. But I stumbled into success, and you guys do it day in and day out.
Exactly.
So you are literally doing magic every single day, especially with celluloid. I don't know how you do that man. That's all chemicals and crystals. I don't know how you do it.
Chemicals and crystals.
It's all silver crystals. I don't know how you do that.
But moving on, we have our next category, Best Stunts. Well, we have some very special guests in the
building.
In the Andes offices. My girlfriend Angelina, as well as a little creature running around somewhere.
Yes.
Where you at, Meg?
Meg is probably zonked.
Yeah.
I have a cat named after one of the Furies. And her name is Meg, short for Megara or Magira, as we mispronounced her name when we first named her. So that's why we mostly call her Meg.
Yes. And speaking of Meg, Best Stunts.
Meg unnecessarily doing stunts all the time.
All the time.
Driving me nuts. Almost plummeted off our cat tower yesterday.
Oh, no. I remember that. Oh, jeez.
So am I doing stunts?
I don't know. Oh, yes,
I'm doing stunts.
All right, go.
The nominees for Best Stunt Work are Ballerina, Caught Stealing, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, One Battle After Another, and The Testament of Ann Lee.
Yeah, start off with Ballerina, which is coming from the world of John Wick, and its full title, is something that you probably won't be surprised if you have tuned into the Andes before and know that John Wick Chapter 4 as a stunt masterpiece took all halts by storm a couple years back. I believe it took the win last I checked. It did for Best Stunts. I think certainly it has it has less stunts.
Yes.
But they are more inventive.
I will say, Hold Me Closer, Tiny Dancer.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, Ballerina, another great addition in the John Wick franchise.
And the stunt showcase franchise that is John Wick. Yeah.
And it is magical to see that here. And then we have, as well, Caught Stealing.
Yes.
A film that is very stunt heavy.
Yes.
And
very grimy in the sense of obviously they're very well executed and professionally executed, but they don't read that way on screen.
No.
You read this is down and dirty. They're in danger.
Yeah.
Every time we see Austin Butler's character in any kind of danger situation, you feel the weight of that immediately.
Oh yeah.
And that is further amplified and solidified, I would say, by the incredible stunt work.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And I think another film that also exemplifies that is One Battle After Another.
Yes.
Which obviously is kind of doing it in in most of the sets where the stunt work is happening. A lot of it is outdoors. A lot of it is in the wide open world. And it's on a much bigger scale than the intimate action of hallways in New York.
And a couple of those stunts are like played for comedy.
Yes, exactly.
Both the big Leo stunts, I would say, are comedic moments.
Absolutely comedic. And then you have something like the amazing rooftop bikers.
Yes.
And the riot police and everyone in the desert and the car driving.
The car chase,
the
car crash in that scene.
The car crash, my God.
And as Benicio del Toro's character says, just like Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning.
Exactly. Another great achievement from the Mission Impossible crew.
Yes.
And Tom Cruise just risking life and limb to create a otherworldly cinematic experience. Whether he's at the bottom of the ocean or high in the sky, that man should not be alive, but he is.
No, we're very lucky that he is.
Yeah.
The insurance companies won't insure him anymore. But
finally, Testament of Anne Lee. Which
people are saying the exact same thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. You're going to do stunts and not put Anne Lee in there?
Crazy.
What are you doing?
Really? Yeah. Come on, Oscars. Really? No Anne Lee in the stunts. No stunts.
No stunts, period.
No stunts, Oscars. But yeah, no, a film that now that we've kind of come to the end of all noms list, The Testament of Anne Lee sticks out above the rest in a very interesting way as the stunts that you see performed by the actors and the stunt doubles that who get down and do the dirty work, all joined not only by dancers and choreographers, but all sorts of extras who come in and create this visceral period musical of otherworldly proportions. And the stunts you see achieved by this whole ensemble of individuals, led by the very affecting performance of Amanda Seyfried, as the titular Anne Lee, go to show that the creativity of stunt work is alive and well, and I think will continue to be for many years to come if Anne Lee is any example of the alt house willing to do big project stunt work, Mm-hmm. So, yeah, a strong 5. Strong 5 as always, and we can probably move right along to Best Score. And the nominees are Aloysius Massaquoi, Caius Bankole, and G. Hastings for 28 Years Later, Johnny Greenwood for One Battle After Another, Daniel Bloomberg for The Testament of Anne Lee, Ludwig Göransson for Sinners, and Daniel Lopatin for Maudie Supreme. And a quick shout out to Daniel Lopatin, who we were calling Daniel Lopatin back when he had his first Andy win with Uncut Gems. So welcome back, the main brain of 106 Point Never, with an amazing score in Maudie Supreme.
And really quickly to discuss the amazing thing that we have 2 other past winners in this category.
Yes, Johnny and Ludwig, respectively, for One Battle After Another and Sinners. And then we have also... We have The Testament of Anne Lee, Daniel Bloomberg, who was nominated last year for The Brutalist. Actually won an Oscar for The Brutalist. Well-deserved, in my opinion. One of the great scores of 2024.
And I didn't even really clock this. Obviously, we have 3 winners. But since Daniel Bloomberg was there last year, there's only one first-time nominee in this category.
And it is Aloysius Massaquoi, Caius Bankole, and G. Hastings, the trio behind the music of 28 Years Later. And not the soundtrack, but the score, this propulsive, horrifying score that brings such weight and such depth to 28 Years Later that, obviously, paired with the cinematography and the editing, really brings a visceral cinematic experience in a way that no other film really did this year, It's marching to the beat of its own creepy drum. But yeah, I guess that about wraps up the first half of the Andes. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with our second half of nominees.
welcome back to the second half of the 7th annual Andy nominations. The nominees for Best Supporting Actress are Emily Blunt, The Smashing Machine, Riley Keough, Jay Kelly, Zoe Kravitz, Caught Stealing, Amy Madigan, Weapons, and Jenna Ortega, Hurry Up, Tomorrow.
Pretty eclectic 5 this year,
Very
Connor.
eclectic 5.
A 5 I don't think many would see coming, or many would even see in other awards
Dan,
nights.
Considering that only one of these women is nominated for the Oscar in this category, I do think we have a pretty divisive group.
Is that Amy or Emily?
Amy.
Amy Madigan for Weapons,
Yes.
which
in itself was a shocking nom for the Oscars.
Yes, already I'm still reeling from that in
Yeah.
the best way possible. No, Amy Madigan with a singular kind of career-defining performance for
In
her.
an exceptional career already.
Yes,
Yeah.
in Weapons, something where she brings the eccentricity that the character Aunt Gladys requires for that role to really, she ties the film together. She is the central character of Weapons.
Who doesn't really show up really until towards the end.
No.
Even as like horrifying as that character is, obviously she is understandable. You do like connect her. You understand what she's doing, her motivations.
Exactly, yeah.
You know? And then let's just get out of the way, Dan. Jenna Ortega, Hurry Up, Tomorrow.
Yes.
Nobody saw this movie. Nobody knows about this movie.
And anyone who saw it probably didn't like it
Probably
that much.
didn't like it.
Panned by the
I
critics.
don't even like this movie that much.
Me neither.
That being said, Jenna Ortega in this thing is nuts. It's revelatory.
I know, listen, I try not to bring it up every year, but when we talk about actors with the juice,
Yeah.
Jenna's
got the juice.
And she's bringing home tubs of it in this movie.
There
My goodness.
is a scene at the end of the movie with her and Abel Tesfaye
Yes.
that she gives the most unhinged energy, and it cemented when I saw that in the theater. I said to Erica as we were coming home, I was like, there's no way Jenna is going to nomination this year. There's no way.
And it's just crazy to think about, like, Jenna Ortega as an actress. I think in a lot of ways, yes, it always varies with the material she's given in any movie. It's going to be different. She will play different characters. Even with some of her iconic TV work in Wednesday, she can't help but bring depth.
Yes.
You know, she can't help but feel like there are so many layers.
And a character that's been around for decades, everybody knows what a Wednesday Addams performance should be or would be.
Yeah.
And she does, and it's been played iconically before by Christina Ricci.
Yeah, by many people, yeah. And you can appreciate that she's done that throughout her career, and she has done it again with Hurry Up Tomorrow. And if we want to transition to a performance that is a little more down to earth, we could talk about Riley Keough from Jay Kelly. A performance that is much more subtle and is much more humanistic and much more, I think, casually relatable to the movie-going audience.
A performance that's built on 2 dialogue scenes.
Pretty much.
For the most part.
But what she's able to bring to that as, again, and we see this in other films of this year, like Sentimental Value, the daughter of a movie star father who was distant and chose his career over his family, and the ramifications of that. You know, we see that so vividly in her performance. And what I love about Riley Keough is she brings the depth and she brings the uniquity to her performance that, I mean, I feel like can be so easily lost with that character.
It's really hard to pull off realistically. It's really hard to portray that, like, you know, that quiet emotion.
And I see it kind of in a very similar way with Emily Blunt and the titular smashing machine of Dwayne Johnson in The Smashing Machine, of like, so much of his character is thanks to, of us understanding his character is thanks to
his relationship
with Emily Blunt, with his wife. And we talk about like Riley Keough not asking if things are going to get better, you know, but we see Emily Blunt in this state of like, is she going to get better?
Yeah.
Are things going to smooth out between her and...
Well, it's a thing where it's, you know, it's a different kind of relationship where they're just both constantly hurting each other. And here's the thing. It is very hard to be with somebody who is focused on their career and on their life, and a thing where someone who's literally in constant pain.
Yes.
And it's a very hard dynamic to set up. And I cannot imagine what both Mark Kerr and Don went through in their lives and their relationship.
Yeah.
And it's a quiet suffering again. Yes, like Dawn is a much more outspoken in her issues with Mark Kerr, but there's just such a ingrained sadness in her.
Yeah.
And the moment where she has to take that fucking photo with that disposable camera.
Oh man.
Gee, Willikers.
Man.
It's
just a couple really just shining moments.
A character
a
character that disappears for a big chunk of the movie.
Oh yeah.
But every time she's on screen, whether it's that immense pain or that immense joy in the gravitron, you instantly connect to her.
And to tie this all together, Zoe Kravitz, who has a relationship with a man who is very past his career.
With an athlete. Yeah.
Yes, with an athlete. We're talking about Austin Butler and Zoe Kravitz in Caught Stealing, which for me was a very subtle and a performance that really informed a lot of the tone of the film in many ways in the scenes that she is in. Doing great work, doing great scene work by herself, great scene work with Austin Butler, and kind of creating this this sense of fragile security.
Yeah, and I mean her character is like the heart of the movie, I would say.
Yeah. And she just plays that really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so moving on to our next category, Best Supporting Actor. And the nominees are Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Ralph Fiennes for 28 Years Later, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, Andrew Scott for Blue Moon, and David Johnson for The Long Walk. Where do we start?
I guess let's start with the man covered in blood.
Yes, the man covered in iodine.
Both Dan and I recently took a trip to the Bone Temple.
Yes,
we went on different tours, but we both took guided tours of the Bone Temple recently.
We sure did. And we grew very intimate, obviously, with Ralph Fiennes in this second installment of the 28 Years trilogy. Here's hoping Part 3 comes soon.
I hope it does.
It better.
Those movies don't do well, so I hope it happens.
Yeah. But it was a difficult thing for us to separate the Bone Temple from 28 Years Later.
But Ralph Fiennes,
in the first installment,
he's in the third act of that movie. It is a third act character reveal.
Pretty much.
You see him from like a mile away earlier in the movie.
Yes.
But you get to know this man this very brief amount of time, and like someone who hasn't spoken to a human being in like probably 28 years. And he just is such, it's so hard in any kind of zombie material whatsoever to find humanity. That's the core theme of any zombie story. You meet Dr. Ian Kelson, and he is the humanity in the apocalypse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Here's a man who's devoted his life to honoring the dead and to understand the importance of death, but also by understanding the importance of death, understand the importance of like why he still lives.
Yeah.
And
it goes really going on to define the entire 28 Days franchise in a brand new light, because the way he is able to expand that world is just magical.
Yeah, like we said, Zoe Kravitz is the heart of Caught Stealing. Dr. Kelson is the heart of these two movies.
Absolutely. Handily. And then you have David Johnson in The Long Walk, for me, is also the halt of that movie in a lot of ways.
His dynamic, I mean, the whole group, but his dynamic with Cooper Hoffman
particularly is fantastic. And the optimism he brings and kind of this youthful irreverence that he has to such a bleak dystopian America is so powerful. And he's able to play this character just so well through that lens. I mean,
it's quite literally also a companionship at the end of the world.
Yes,
like these men, literally, if they just slow down for 3 seconds, they're gone.
Yeah,
you know. And it's the thing is that you have to live for the moments. You just have to keep going.
And then we have Andrew Scott from Blue Moon, who, I mean, again, Andrew Scott.
I mean, like
as the much celebrated Richard Rogers.
Yes.
I mean, a very well-known character in the Broadway tapestry.
Yes.
You know.
Which the funny thing with Andrew Scott is this is a one I fought for. When I was watching Blue Moon a couple weeks ago now, I couldn't explain to you why, but I was just like, I was watching, like, oh, Andrew Scott should get a nomination for this. Like, it was just something like, it just like both him and another cast member we'll mention later, both just instantly the second they started talking wormed their way into my heart.
Yeah, and it's so fascinating because when you had mentioned this as an option for our noms, like him being on your short list, just with your suggestion of him saying his name and me having seen it a few days ago, I was transported back to these amazing, tense moments between Andrew Scott and Ethan Hawke, those two characters, and the situations they find themselves in their own lives after being collaborators for so long. And Richard Rodgers, Andrew Scott, just trying his best to toe the line on every level with everyone around him. The weight of the future and the weight of the past on his shoulders in this one moment.
To deal with the fact that someone you care for deeply is having the worst night of their life on the best night of yours.
Exactly. And it really is just magical. And,
yes.
And Andrew Scott is, all flowers to him.
Yeah.
And then we have all boys, all one battle after another boys, Sean and Benicio, who all both ends of the spectrum of that movie.
Yes.
The opposite ends.
You can say one guy you would love to have a few small beers with and one guy you would not.
Yes. But for now, let us move on to all lead acting categories, and we can start off with Best Actress.
Yes, Dan, I'm happy to answer one of the big questions today, who are the nominees for Best Actress? And the nominees are Kirsten Dunst, Roofman, Julia Garner, Weapons, Amanda Seyfried, The Testament of Anne Lee, Emma Stone, Begonia, and Eva Victor, Sorry Baby. Dan, you know what? I just realized something fun.
Yeah, go for it.
We have three previous nominees in this category.
Garner, Dunst, and Stone.
Yes, which I completely forgot about Julia Garner being nominated for The Assistant.
The Assistant.
Completely forgot about that.
I believe for lead, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
an amazing lead performance by Julia Garner in The Assistant. She has come back to us as the much maligned but ever lovable teacher of all the 217
students. Just happened to teach the wrong class.
Wrong classroom, wrong time,
luck of the draw.
But in Weapons,
yes.
Imagine a town believing that you kidnapped and did something
20-something children.
To 20-something of their children.
Yes, yeah.
And having to survive that and continue living your truth, Yeah. She does a great job at that.
Yes.
And then we have Kirsten Dunst from Roofman, previously nominated for
Civil War.
Civil War, great film. And here again, she is bringing what Kirsten Dunst always brings, which is such a soul and such a sensitivity to a character who otherwise might not have gotten such a treatment if it was done by a different actress.
Yeah.
And I think back to Civil War. I think back to also films like Marie Antoinette, where she is able to bring
Virgin Suicides.
Yeah, even Virgin Suicides early in her career, which is a personal favorite of mine.
And even Mary Jane Watson. A character that very easily could just be like, oh, she is the pretty girl. She is the love interest.
I'm just here.
I am just the girl in a comic book movie.
Yes. She always brings that sensitivity and that depth, and she's
trying
she's got
to
two kids, man.
Yeah, just trying to just be a great mother and be an employee and try to make a difference. Yeah.
And then we have Amanda Seyfried, a new nominee.
I believe a first-time nominee.
Yes. Long time coming. I'll say this. She's dropped many good performances in her career, and it's amazing to see her at a point of such maturation that she can take on a grueling and intense role like Anne Lee and really be able to ground the struggles and yet the otherworldly vision of who Anne Lee was as an individual. And then Eva Victor, Sorry Baby.
Yes. And if you've not seen Sorry Baby, watch it. A movie that it got its flowers in the festival circuit, but really didn't make an impact in theatrical release or in the award ceremonies at all. An amazing film that I feel like will stand the test of time, and a performance that I think only further anchors that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then Emma Stone for Begonia, who at this point no stranger to the Andes, as well as no stranger to many.
Yeah, returning off her win for Poor Things.
Yes, absolutely. Comes back with yet another collaboration with Yorgos Lanthimos, which has been a stunning run of films ever since 2018's The Favorite.
Yeah.
A really amazing creative tit and tat that they have formed with each other. A relationship between director and actor that only comes like a couple times in anyone's career.
A career-defining partnership.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of magical to see how, again, with each film, how the characters that she plays come to a point where they're so mature and nuanced and otherworldly that we're just seeing Emma Stone break new ground in acting, and it is just so it's awe-inspiring to watch, you know. And I know Emma Stone is a big awards darling in a lot of ways because she has that amazing cross appeal, you know. You have Poor Things and you have La La Land. She can do it all, you know. But it's earned. It's so earned because she has such range as an actor. It's so mesmerizing to see her just do her thing, pushing through adversity.
Yes.
And in many ways in all society, that is a big role that women tend to play, is
Sadly,
the role
yes.
of pushing through adversity. And it is stunning to see each 5 of these actresses portray those roles in such varied ways throughout different periods of history and different locations and social classes. It all comes through so vividly. And, a big shout out to all 5 of these actors who are just doing something amazing, you know? But yeah, moving on to Best Lead Actor. The nominees all: Dwayne Johnson for The Smashing Machine, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Timothy Chalamet for Maudie Supreme, and Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. Now, we should mention that Michael B. Jordan for Sinners is also being nominated not only as Smoke, but as Stack.
Yes. Both performances in the motion picture.
Yes. We're not singling out
That'd
one.
be very funny if it's like not as good as Stack.
No. I mean, Smoke was okay, but Stack really brought the juice this year. In a year of actors playing 2 identical characters, rose to the cream of the crop above...
That's true.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson and Robert De Niro in Alto Nights, and even, ironically enough, in Twinless.
Dylan O'Brien.
Yes, Dylan O'Brien in Twinless.
Yeah, we chose the 2 best twins to make it to Best Actor.
Yes.
Smoke and Stack.
Exactly. And then Timothy Chalamet, a much talked about performance in Maudie Supreme, giving one of the best performances of his career, and at the same time one of the most stressful performances of his career. One of the most I hesitate to say unlikable, but very...
Marty Mauser's unlikable.
He is.
It's fair to say.
And
I very much sympathize with him, and I empathize and I understand him. But no, he's not likable.
Yeah, I wanted to say something like textured, nuanced, but no, unlikable.
It is textured. It is nuanced. He is somebody, and I've actually defended Marty Mauser in public spheres recently.
Which spheres, Connor?
Oh yeah, the Las Vegas sphere.
The Las Vegas spheres.
This man is suffering, guys.
Yeah,
this man, he can't relax because he needs a reason to exist. Speaking of 2 performers and 2 characters who touch greatness and are now, sadly in their decline, Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon and Dwayne Johnson in The Smashing Machine.
Yes, both 2 individuals somewhat over the hill in their careers that all finding trouble, keeping on to the lives they once knew, and not only the fame, but also all of the social stature that comes with, and how people treat you. Yeah,
well, also dealing with a close friend and confidant in your field, achieving success at the same time you are, and being direct competition with them.
Yeah, someone that you've trusted before and is moving on. And in many ways, Dwayne Johnson and Ethan Hawke, all similar, and in very dissimilar, obviously, in many ways, but both stunning performances.
Yes.
And if I can go on record to say anything, not only about Dwayne Johnson, but also Ethan Hawke, I think Lawrence Holt could easily suplex Mark Kerr.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Lorenz Hart was in the Octagon, doesn't matter who he's up against.
Oh, yeah. He's taking the W.
It's the Thunderdome, man. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. And then finally, like Mark Kerr, someone whose body could literally fall apart, Jacob Elordi's Frankenstein. Oh, I had that percolating for a while.
Oh my goodness. Frankenstein's monster in Frankenstein, portrayed as another character who really is unrecognizable as the monster.
Yeah.
Jacob Elordi, who has been on this amazing streak of working with auteurs. But yeah, no, I was absolutely stunned. not only in Jacob Elordi's amazing lead performance as the monster and showing the pathos of Frankenstein's monster in a way that a lot of films haven't bothered to justify before, to give the time to him, but also kind of still shocked that I think it's all just politics and nonsense, and he has better odds as a supporting, but being kind of shelved as a supporting actor role in that film when so much of the emotional growth comes from him.
Yes.
I mean, the point of the film is to see his perspective from the initial.
It's about father and son.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's something also to be said for me personally. One of the most stunning things I see Jacob Elordi do in the film, and this is nothing against the other characters in this category, if we're talking about Lorenz Holt or Malt Kerr or Smoke and Stack or Maudie Mauser, all of those characters remain themselves. Whether they change emotionally, they remain themselves for mostly the duration of the film. Jacob Elordi's Frankenstein's monster needs to learn how to move and speak and basically become who he is from these raw materials into what we see as a very sophisticated thinking creature over the course of some hours, and do that with such perfect minuteness as to knowing the points when the monster learns how to speak, how to feel, how to empathize, and bring it up as a progression. Because he is building this character up brick by brick, and he shows that so vividly, and it is just, it's fantastic to watch, you know? But yeah, only 2 categories left. What do we have next, man?
The next category is Best Director. And the nominees are Noah Baumbach, Jay Kelly, Danny Boyle, 28 Years Later, Ryan Coogler, Sinners, Steven Soderbergh, Presence, and James Sweeney, Twinless.
Now, that's a name we have not heard yet. Steven Soderbergh for Presence. We haven't heard much about Presence, but to be honest, I don't think enough people have heard about Presence.
No, a movie that kind of came and went.
Yes, that premiered originally in Sundance 2 years ago. Finally hit theatrical in January in the dead months. But I think both of us kind of held on to as a really special addition to Steven Soderbergh's career. A very kind of unique addition to his directorial oeuvre.
Well, the thing with Steven Soderbergh is the guy works... he never takes a break.
He does not.
But he constantly, on top of working all the time, is evolving all the time.
Yeah. You talk about true auteurs. You can look at a Wes Anderson or a Tarantino or a PTA, and you're going to look at these individuals, and you're going to see so many visual motifs used again and again and again. But one of my favorite examples of a true auteur, and I think you might agree with me here, is Ang Lee. An individual who looks at a project and puts aside their own potential ideas and sees, what do I need to do for the sake of the story? And you look at Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, into Hulk, into Brokeback Mountain.
Well, just those 3 in general.
Just those 3 in general.
Yeah.
How are those made by the same guy?
Yeah.
And I see that same kind of energy, especially with Steven Soderbergh these days, where he looks at a project and says, what does this film need visually, sonically, tone-wise?
Yeah.
And with Presence, he brings this abstract, eerie calm to the idea of a modern ghost story.
Yes.
And he, unlike leaning into the horror as much, he lets us begin in kind of this mysterious, horrific atmosphere, and it bleeds away into this deep, just ruminative
melancholy
that is just so affecting, and the choices just of abstract cuts and sequences patched together by Steven Soderbergh is, in my opinion, his most inspired directing to date. And
you know what direction I love, Dan?
What?
Someone who is relatively very new in their career. I think this is only their 2nd feature. I'm correct with James Sweeney.
James Sweeney of Twinless fame, a film that both kind of took us all by storm. I remember seeing only one trailer for it in front of one movie, and thank goodness it stayed on me and Angelina's radar. We went to catch it on a very slim release schedule, barely caught it in theaters at a theater near our place, and my God, the amount of times that we were just stunned by moments in the film for Twinless. It was just such a great experience seeing a new voice in indie cinema, and so many magic moments. And not only that, like, just, you know, when a film knows how to use Dylan O'Brien, it's a good film. Whether it's Saturday Night or Caddo Lake or Twinless or even Send Help, a new film that just came out, Sam Raimi's Send Help. When you have Dylan O'Brien and you know how to use him, man, that's a film that's gonna sing.
I saw James Sweeney's previous film, Straight Up, when it came out a few years ago. Yeah, and while that film didn't really connect to me on a script level, I was like, dude, this guy can direct. Like, he has a voice straight out of the gate in your first feature. He knows how to tell a story.
And improving off of that into Twinless.
A thing that I did not think was possible.
Lord almighty.
No, man, Twinless, I don't know how he did it. I really don't. It's an incredible piece of work. And especially when it's so young, it's nuts.
And it runs so smoothly. It is such a well-oiled story.
Yeah.
When it comes to the pacing and the intent and the emotional waves that we ride throughout it. It is so inspired.
There is...
it's just fantastic.
The scene at the Halloween party that plays in split screen.
Oh.
How they end the split screen sequence. Where it is a pull-out from a shot in a mirror is insane.
Where does that come from?
No.
That comes from the cosmos, Connor.
You know that
is magical.
You know that thing where you could put like 1,000 monkeys on typewriters, eventually they'll write Shakespeare?
Yes.
You could put me in that exact I could be caught in a like hell scenario where I have to direct that scene, and I could be in that room for 1 billion years. I would never think to do that.
Danny Boyle, 28 years later.
Another director who constantly is evolving.
Yes.
We talked about him a little bit earlier.
Yeah, we did.
But yeah, no, Danny Boyle, like, you know a Danny Boyle movie through energy. You wouldn't know it through the camera. You wouldn't know it through any choices. No. He is somebody, despite constantly evolving, you know him. You know Danny Boyle's work.
And then we have Noah Baumbach for Jay Kelly, which I know Noah Baumbach, a director, especially with his past few films, very close to your halt.
Yeah, I'm a big Baumbach boy. I really am.
I feel like most of all, the kind of effect that Marriage Story has had, not only on, you know, your career, in your personal life, ever since it came out, but just like how it's kind of been one of those defining memories of the Andes. Of like, what a great example of a director who understands the spirit of indie and who understands the spirit of keeping film alive. Noah Baumbach, who does this amazing, like, semi-career retrospective for George Clooney.
The thing, but also for himself, just being a creative.
Yes, exactly.
And it's the thing that you can make the complaint where Noah Baumbach literally only makes movies about himself.
Yeah.
It's very true. Every movie directly has a Baumbach insert that's clear as day to see.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's hiding that. And the thing is, when he's telling personal stories, he's telling personal stories.
And it doesn't come off as ego.
No,
it doesn't come off as, look how awesome my life is.
It's coming as someone who's like,
here's my life. This is how I filter it and try and understand
simply,
it.
This movie is like, oh, did I fuck up?
Yeah. And I guess to round it out, we got one other director. Who is he, Connor?
Ryan Coogler for Sinners.
Man, I don't know who let the Coog loose, but I'm glad they did.
Well, here's the thing. Ryan Coogler, I for a long time, I called Christopher Nolan the People's Auteur.
Yeah.
And I think Ryan Coogler really is the People's Auteur. Well, here's the thing.
And I'm glad that we have
him. The thing about Ryan Coogler is he's just a guy. And I love that about Ryan Coogler. Like if you hear him talk, he's an incredibly intelligent guy. Don't get me wrong, but he's just like one of the dudes. Like he's just like
really is.
He's not somebody who like he's not high in his own supply. He's not hoity-toity. He's like, no, I make movies for the people. Yeah. And I'm really good at what I do, and I'm gonna say something with it. But I'm not trying to be anything I'm not.
And he always seems so appreciative for the success he's had.
Incredibly
he
down to earth.
He doesn't take it for granted. He doesn't think it was owed to him. He comes through and he's making something for us, for the people who want to go into that theater and sit all butts down for 2 hours.
He's somebody who did the work, and someone who is still like immensely grateful for the opportunities he's been given.
But yeah, best picture for the 7th annual Andes. All right, I guess we'll go back and forth listing these off. Connor,
sounds good.
Start it off.
The nominees are 28 Years Later,
The Legend of Ochi,
The Long Walk,
The Maiden,
Presence,
Sinners,
Sorry Baby,
Twinless,
and Weapons.
Strong 9.
Strong 9.
And I think with the categories beneath it that we've already previously listed, I think a rather unique 9, but also somewhat very representative of what the Andes kind of stand for when we're talking about Best Picture.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about, in this case, 9. We don't always stick to 9. It might be 8, might be 10, might be 7. 9 films this year that, with all of its various elements combined, end up giving us a final product that is greater than the sum of its parts.
Because other than the fact that 2 of these movies have twins in them, these movies have nothing in common.
No, not really.
Nothing in common.
They totally run the gamut from genre, from time period, from budget, from everything.
Yeah.
And it is really stunning to kind of see the beautiful year of diversity that 2025 had for us.
Yeah, I will say,
these are very,
like I said in my review for Bone Temple, it's these movies are heartwarming and organ shredding, which is like something like you just don't feel. I've told Erica this before. I don't think there is any movie that made me feel like the 28 Years Later movies have.
Yeah.
No movies made me feel that way.
No way. But yeah, overall, as it is with many years, I can't help but feel just very grateful that
we get to do this.
And we get to do this, and we get to kind of give ourselves this time and appreciate this amazing alt form that we work in and that we engage with and that we love and we talk about.
Well, because not even the fact that we get to like record, because obviously this goes without saying, we don't make money from this.
No, this isn't some like, oh, thank goodness this costs we're getting paid $10K a year to no, none of that. We're just like, we're doing this on our own dime.
Yeah, we're doing this purely because it's enriching for us.
It is.
One, I get an excuse to just sit down, and talk about movies with someone I really like for an hour. Yeah. I get to like I mean, you called Andy Nominations Day Second Christmas.
I do.
It really is. I like every like I care maybe way too much about this thing.
To really sit down and remember all the ways we were so emotionally impacted, because 2025 was a pretty rough year for the film world and the film industry, where we had, as we always do, plenty of amazing artists pass away in this year, and we had plenty of changes to the industry that add to the growing fear and the growing tension of Hollywood and just global cinema in general. And all of that can be really difficult to plot through. But
I know, and it's so dramatic to say the film industry is under attack. I understand.
Yeah,
but it is. It's like
eroding in many ways.
Well, it's just we do this because we care.
Yeah. And
the reason why it's eroding is a lot of people just are starting to not.
Yeah.
Or to care a lot less. But I mean, I don't want to get on my soapbox here. It's so easy to have a podcast, to be a white man in your 20s, the podcast, and get on your soapbox.
Yes.
But things should not be made to be accessible while you're on your phone. Matt Damon should not be doing an interview about The Rip where he's like, well, they told us to make sure we explain the plot at least 3 times in dialogue, just because people are on their phones.
It's, we talk about this as, filmmaking and movies in general. We talk about it as an alt form here with the Andes, and appreciating that.
The beautiful thing about film is it is the most accessible art form.
Yes.
You don't need to be able to read. You don't have to pay to go to the theater.
Or you don't have to go to a museum.
Yeah, you just have to be a
yeah.
human being who understands emotion.
Exactly.
Like you could, I mean, there's a thing you say this all the time where I could watch this without sound and still feel the same way. You could watch a lot of these films presented here without sound.
Yeah.
And especially like Weapons could be a silent film.
And it would be sick.
It could be. It could be.
Man, that scene where she's sleeping in the call and the lady with the scissors comes out.
20 years later could be a silent film.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these films, you don't need to be able to even speak the language to understand the emotionality behind them.
Talk about a film like Resurrection, which got some nominations tonight from us. Yeah, absolutely.
Like film is, I mean, there's the amazing monologue in one of the amazing moments in Babylon with Brad Pitt's character talking about why he loves film so much, and his wife at that time was an actress, is trashing cinema, and he says like, no, this is the most beautiful thing on the planet. Like this is the accessible art form. This is the people's medium. Yeah, and that's true. And the thing is, but the important thing is like, yes, this is the most accessible art form, but it's still an art form. It is still something that deserves reverence and respect and like love and care. Yes. It is not, it can be something you put on while you fold laundry. That's true. But it shouldn't be only something you put on while you fold laundry.
And yes, it's so tied in with the idea of the industry and the machine that makes movies. But to remember that almost all these people are just artists who are working with the system they're given to create these works of art at such a grand scale. But yeah, those are our nominees for the 7th annual Andes, the films of 2025. Please tune in the coming weeks. We will have the winners episode out there, hopefully before the Oscars, but you never know.
We always aim to be before the Oscars.
We always aim. We
often miss.
But yeah, from all of us here at the offices, me and Connor and Erica and Angelina and Meg
zonked out somewhere.
Zonked out.
She's honking shoes left and right.
As always, we will have all letterbox lists for all profile accounts, Cranberry 18 and DA_N for you to browse.
Well, Dan, that's CRAND Berry 18.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes.
And I will also, of course, have a link to Connor's personal film and list where you can see all the previously nominated films and what they were nominated for and which ones even won.
And we'll hopefully be updated with last year's Andes very soon.
Hopefully.
This year's winners, you're not going to get a sneak peek. You're not going to be Nostradamus.
No, you're going to have to wait till the episode.
Even I don't know.
Yeah. But in a few short weeks, we will be presenting the winners episode of the Andes. And until then, keep watching movies, and you'll hear from us next time.
See you guys later. Bye.